Alright, so we're out here at the range. We've got a couple targets set up out at 100 yards. Got the lead sled set up. Out there, I don't think this camera is going to be able to pick up the actual impacts very good, but we're going to try. The target on the right, I will be first shooting with the 129 grain Hornady SST rounds. These are hand loaded. We're going to go ahead and do a 4-shot group. On the second target, we're going to be shooting the 129 grain power points. Alright, so on the first target, or the first two targets, I shot the SST hand loads first, and then I shot the Winchesters that I bought. And on the second two targets I'm shooting now, I'm going to shoot the Winchesters first, and then the SSTs. And hopefully, right now that the barrel's warmed up, we can bring these groups in a little tighter. They're kind of poor right now, really, I think, and hopefully I can bring them in a little tighter, and we'll see, you know, maybe some bigger differences. Alright, so Winchester power points are up first. It looks like, for whatever reason, my groups are kind of opening up, so I'm going to try to load them one at a time instead of feeding them through the magazine and see if that will change something. You never know. Going hot. All right.
It's not letting the head What's it got? Like
like a bar safety? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right out of the adjustment.
Now for the 129 grain SST. So we're back from the range. A couple things happened. I didn't, was not expecting. I was expecting the groups to be much tighter than they actually were. We kind of got this theory that it could be the scope could be the issue. It's an old scope. It's been on several different rifles, several different calibers, and it's probably been dropped once or twice. And it may just be a little sloppy. It'll have some slack in it, and depending on round to round aiming at the same spot, it kind of, the groups just weren't all there. I mean by that, this is group 1 with the Winchester PowerPoints, and I hope that this is out good. Those 3 are, the 3 right here probably within a quarter diameter. You can probably cover those with a quarter. And then, got the one high one. The second group with the Winchester PowerPoints are quite a bit, they're a little more spread out. I mean, these 2 are close together, but, and then of course that one's centered it, but they kind of opened up a little bit more than I wanted. And I'm wondering if it wasn't that the barrel needed to be cleaned, or that it just, I don't know, could be just the scope being off a little bit. The Hornady SSTs shot, these are hand loads, they shot a little tighter than the store-bought rounds. This is the first group on those, and you can see that group there, much tighter, much more centered in the target, aiming at the same place every time, just dead center of the red. I do have this scope shooting a little high at 100 yards, because I actually, typically shoot it a little further out than that. Here was the last target with the Hornady SSTs, and we got about the same grouping as the first one with them. But it looks like, either way, whatever you want to do with it, this is about as good as you're going to get. So we were kind of thinking that it may be the scope itself on the rifle having a little slack in it, because the grip should be much tighter than that. They should be basically clover leafing, or even better at 100 yards. That rifle should be shooting through the same hole. Unfortunately, I was unable to get those kinds of results, so we're going to try to go to a different scope in the future, and we'll take it back out and we'll try to run the same test again. And also in the future, I'm going to be actually loading my own rounds and be using a single stage press, and hopefully I can really dial in some good rounds up for this thing, and hopefully I can get them, shooting 5-shot groups that can be covered up by a dime at 100 yards. That's my goal. That's what I want the rifle to be able to do. Other than that, I mean, we had a good day at the range. It wasn't windy at all. Maybe at most we got like a 2-mile-an-hour, maximum wind, and temperature was great, humidity was great. Other than that, there were a few other people out shooting, which is fine. They were all interested in what we were doing. Other than that, I guess we'll see you next time in the next video. This has been Matthew's Ballistics.